I started to organize all these books to get them separated into collection versus resale, and realized that I was combining them with another lot. That I wanted to make a video about this lot before I confused it with the other one. So this lot, and there's a few exceptions in there. You see as I go through some of it that there's books I've posted and other pictures. This is one lot. Um, and the lot was labeled comics and activity books, Spider-Man and Batman. And so I put in a bid on it because it's a large lot, and because it's such a large lot, and there were a couple of comics in the feature picture that I was looking for, or that I wanted, or both. I thought it was fair to um, make a low offer. If it went too high, I'd bail out. So the auction went, all of this roughly went for about 12 cents a book. And so here's the lesson I learned from this sale. The auction house sends this first class, and they don't talk to you about shipping before they do. So, because I would ship this media mail to keep it cheap, because that's what media mail is for. They're books that add weight, which is usually what the Postal Service measures by. But when it's books, when it's media, they lower the price because you're declaring that that's what it is. So sending it first class, the price per book went from 12 cents a book to about 44 cents a book. Um, so you got to look out for that when you're bidding. Remember how the auction house you're dealing with handles shipping. Um, Still, 44 cents a book is not bad, particularly given the things I've found in here that I enjoy, that I like. And I'm going to go through some of that. And then I'm going to talk about what I want to do with the rest. First of all, this is the activity book section of the lot, and there are X-Men activity books and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers activity books, and they are lightly used, which means some of the activities and pictures have been done and colored in, and most of them have not. So I'm probably going to give those to a neighbor or some other cause, but these are dead weight to me. I'm going to give that away. I don't think there's anything in there that's terribly valuable. Um, there's a couple of books. Trade paperbacks don't tend to resell, so that is a collection of the issues behind the death in the family, which is when the Joker beat Jason Todd to death with a crowbar. But yeah, this is a trade paperback that was $4. Good to read, um, but won't fetch a whole lot. Death Superman, same thing. It's a trade paperback. It's not the actual issues. Good to read. Won't resell for much. It's Craig Magazine, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Marvel Super Special, which I haven't actually priced yet. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Supergirl, and there's a Schwarzenegger bio thing, and a Batman Returns. These are all storybooks. They're not comics. They're just books. I will probably hold on to those with a mind of what to do with them, but they don't go in the collection. I'll figure that out later. So then this is the rest of the lot. And there are some things that are really cool. And remember, condition of the book will definitely affect its resale price. So these are both Silver Age books, and there's a few other Silver Age books in here. So I don't really care about Disney's Bullwhip Griffin, and I've already listed the Lassie comic book that was in here and the Maya comic book that was in here. That are all Gold Key books from the Silver Age. Maybe they'll go, because in the other issue in comics collecting is you have to have a buyer who actually wants the stuff, which is why Spider-Man demands more of a price, because it's scarcity plus demand. Um, Lassie, you got scarcity, and there's probably higher demand than for Bullwhip Griffin, but you never know. There might be someone out there that's looking for that. You just have to find the right buyer, and I'm figuring that out. A lot of times it's comics collectors at comic shops that want to pay pennies on the dollar. That's tough. You don't want to sell that way. You want to find somebody that's actually looking for the books you want, which is a little difficult to get the product to market. Still working on that, still figuring it out, doing okay. So Bullwhip Griffin, Dr. Solar, Man of the Atom, also Silver Age. I thought this was cool. This is the 30th anniversary of the Avengers, issue 360. It's a die cut, shiny. It's not worth all that much. This is the stack I'm going to keep because I dig Abbott and Costello. They're a big part of my childhood, especially Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which oddly enough is this book. I was into the movie, but this is the book. There's several Amazing Spider-Mans in here. First appearance Carnage is 361, and this goes from 358 to 364. So it's the kind of thing the auction house might have gone, oh, 361's worth something, take it out and sell it separately. You never know. That's what's rough about places like Bookhounds, because they receive collections. Like yesterday, I found a limited series on Hellcat in Bookhounds, and they had issues 2 and 3, but 1 was not there. Which kind of says to me it might have been there, but the person who does the sorting and the shipping took it out because they thought it was valuable and could resell it differently. Which I think is how I got Ultimate Fallout number 4, because they didn't recognize that it was valuable and it just stayed in the shipment. There's a Spider-Man annual. This one's from a previous lot, Kazar and Dr. Doom. I was a little dismayed to find out that the cover is not attached. I wasn't planning on reselling this anyway because Dr. Doom's one of the characters I look for, but that's a little disappointing to the auction house I bought this from. Has rubbed me the wrong way on a couple of different points, and finding what their opening bid was for this when the cover was not attached and they didn't declare it. Buyer beware. That means I'm not going back to that auction house. This was in the feature picture and is the main reason I bid on the lot. This is Spider-Man 375, which is the final confrontation, quote unquote, between Spider-Man and Venom. And the cover is a hologram. It's a direct edition because you can tell there's no barcode on the label. It is instead an anniversary print of Spider-Man. A lot of times it's Spider-Man's head or something like that, which tells you it was one that was ordered and shipped directly to the comic book store rather than one that was barcoded and sent to a newsstand. Generally, the newsstand ones are a little bit more valuable in my experience, and I suspect that's because it's harder to find a quality copy of a book that has gone through a newsstand as opposed to a quality copy that went through a comic book shop and directly into a reader or collector's hands. That's from a previous lot. Fantastic Four 109. Marvel's #1. I love Kurt Busiek. There's a cover fold in this, and it's probably not valuable enough to have graded. On the other hand, if I get Busiek's signature on this, then it's worth a certified signature. Then it's worth submitting for grading just to preserve it and authenticate it. And then they might be able to improve the cover fold. You can't count on them getting rid of it because that one seems like a pretty good crease, but you never know. Generally, the stuff that I've submitted or that I've heard of submitted to CGC, whatever you got it at, the CGC process tends to improve it about 1.5 points. So if I got it at 5, I'd probably get it back at a 6.5 because they do a little bit of work. This is the one I'm kind of jazzed about because it's in really good shape, except for a little bit of water damage on the internal pages. The water damage doesn't show on the cover, though. This is a Silver Age copy of Charlton Comics' The Phantom, number 30. And it's pretty clean. Might even be worth grading. I was kind of excited by that one. Secret Origins special, not worth anything. I pull stuff and I go, oh, that might be worth something. It's Secret Origins 1 from 1989. Generally, that's where the market collapses in the late 80s, early 90s, which is why you see so many variant covers because they're trying to increase the market value of any individual issue. Because in the 90s, everything went mass production and the quality is not great. You know, there's the occasional diamond in the rough, like New Mutants 87, but I looked at that and I went, I wonder if that's worth anything. It's not. Okay. Same thing with this Vault of Horror. It's labeled #1, but its cover price is $195. So I went, that's probably not worth anything because the cover price is so high. And I was right. This is an early '90s reprint of EC Comics' Vault of Horror stories. Still cool. It's #1. And those kind of books, the Vault of Horror, the Creepshow stuff. I still have my graphic novel version of Stephen King's Creepshow, the movie, and I've got that somewhere. I probably need to protect it better than I have been, from like 1982. Web of Spider-Man #100, the introduction of spider armor. It's not worth anything. It's worth like cover price or a little bit less. X-Men #1, also from the '90s, also not worth about cover price. There's a few things in that stack that I've come across as I've gone through. I'll price it all because either I'm keeping it and I want to know what it's worth to add to the collection, or I'm selling it, and so I need to know what it's worth to set a fair price for it. But a lot of comic book stores have what they call dead stock, which are books that they over ordered or they've received in trade, but that they can't sell. And I'm not intending to have any dead stock. I want to create a collection that's all books that I care about and have some kind of emotional connection. So, what I'm considering doing is figuring out what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to sell, and most of what I've shown you is either a keep or a sell. But if I'm not going to keep it for my collection and I'm not going to sell it, I don't intend on keeping dead stock. So if you made it through to the 12-minute mark of this video, here's where I'd like your opinion. I want to donate anything that would otherwise be considered dead stock to some kind of reading program. And I have an idea because I have a friend who's an elementary school teacher, and I think she might get use out of them. Of course, they have to be vetted for propriety, and most of them are not going to have a problem with that, but just still got to check. But if you have suggestions, who a good beneficiary? See, I learned. I think I've always credited my reading ability, or the way I learned to read, from reading comics, which is why that Spider-Man 114 is so important to me. I think it's Marvel Tales 97 that redoes it, and I may get one of those just to put up. But if you have, so I think I would like to, whatever comics come my way, because the goal is to buy in bulk, and then mine it for the treasures. I should tell you the story about the estate sale in Vegas last weekend that I wasn't able to go to. But whatever is dead stock after the evaluation of what I've received, I want it to go to a good cause and give underprivileged kids the opportunity to learn to read in the same way that I credit, or practice read, or because I'm a big believer that it's not enough to put books in front of a kid and expect them to read. And I get in arguments about this as an English teacher all the time. I don't know that the classics should form the core of any English curriculum. You have to have stuff the kids want to read. And so comic books generally to me are things that kids want to read because they can look at the pictures and it's easier to decode, etc. And so I would like the comic books I'm not keeping or selling to go to a good home to help kids learn to read. So if you have a suggestion where that would be, drop in the comments, send me a direct message, whatever, and I will take it under advisement. Cool. That's today's video and today's lesson. Lesson. Yeah. All right. Peace.